Good, my D-Sads gang, 1992, and today I'm back with another video. Happy Monday to everybody, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful week. But today I wanted to make this video focusing on emotional baggage. So for those of you who may not know what I'm speaking about when I say emotional baggage, those are things that we hold on to, right? So I'm gonna give y'all an example. I had a bad breakup. It was about 2 years ago. I had a bad breakup. This is not really me, but I'm just saying, I'm just using it as an example. I had a bad breakup. Things went really wrong. I was in love. She didn't feel the same about me. We broke up, right? 2 years later, I'm looking to date somebody else because I'm finally feeling like I'm ready to date. I get into another situation with another lady, but I'm still getting like these thoughts like, oh, within 2 years, this is going to be over anyways. That's what I mean by carrying emotional baggage. Whenever we go through something that emotionally scars us, we need to heal that. We need to get through that. Because carrying emotional baggage stops us from our true purpose. It stops us from really being in a happy state because we're still holding on to all of that baggage. You know, like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this weekend was a little bit of a weekend of mine where like I had to like fight my ego, you know? And my ego is my lower self, it's not my higher self, right? So y'all can only imagine what the ego was doing to me. Like the ego was just going back and forth with me, playing with me. And I was getting really frustrated with it. So what I did was, I said, I'm going to take me a spiritual bath. I'm going to ask God to remove any negative thoughts, any negative feelings. And when I did that, it worked. But it was really difficult at first for me to like stop those thoughts. And then I came to terms like I have a lot of emotional baggage from the past, whether it's in romantic relationships, friendships, family, siblings, my mother, my father. Like I've been holding on to a lot of emotional baggage. And that's not a good thing because like I just said to y'all, it stops us from really being in that happy state. When we hold on to things that emotionally like scarred us, it's can be very difficult for us to move past it. And to me, I'll tell people this, like, there's no rush, but at the same time, you need to be doing that work because how can I expect a romantic partner if I'm still stuck in the past about what happened in the past with someone else? You know, so with that being said, I had to really sit down and say, there's a lot of emotional baggage that I have that I wasn't aware of. You know, I was aware of probably some of it, but not all of it. So I had to really like sit down and say, am I thinking from a pure heart space? Am I thinking from a good place? Am I thinking positive? And I had to come to terms with like, I'm not. And on this journey, it's never easy. And I always say this, especially you're going to have your days when you're questioning you're questioning if what you're saying is real. If you're questioning of how you're living is really real. And that can make us get into this energy where we're just like, oh, I don't know. And it makes us feel like negative. And I'm learning each day that there are certain places that I have not healed yet. And those things affect me to this day. And I'm finally at a place where I'm ready to just knock those things out because I realize that those things are not serving me any better. Like when we're trying to manifest things, we have to let go of all of that emotional baggage. How am I going to manifest a good relationship if I'm still stuck in the past about what happened with the old relationships? I have a problem with holding on to certain things when people hurt me in a certain way. I have a hard time with letting that go. And I'm admitting that, I'm openly saying it, like it becomes hard for me. I think I'm past it, but then like these triggers will come up and then I'm like mad at the person again. And I'm like, what? Like, I thought that you were past this. And that just goes to show us like, there are going to be times when we think that we're past something, but we're really not. And these triggers come up only to show us like you're not past it. You're not over it. There is something that you are obviously holding on to. And that affects our relationships with other people. Because here we are trying to move forward with someone new, but we're thinking about what happened in the past. That doesn't make any sense. That's not going to push you towards the positive relationship that you want. So I had to really come to terms with that. Like, this weekend was very difficult for me. My energy was like crazy, to the point where I was getting frustrated with my own self. Like, come on, get back to that happy place. Get back to that happy place. And it was very difficult. But that's just the ego trying to play with me. The ego's trying to make me turn back to the dark places of myself. And I'm just like, no. As long as I'm able to acknowledge what negative emotion I'm feeling at that time, and as long as I'm able to release it, I know that I'm going to be fine. But I never said that this was going to be perfect. I never said that every day was going to be happy. I never said that. But I was just like, I was surprised at myself, because I'm like, I can't believe I'm still in this place. So I'm still feeling this certain way. But here I am trying to say that I want to move forward. Here I am trying to make this work. So with that being said, emotional baggage must be released. Release it, let it go. There was something that I came across actually on Facebook, which I don't really do social media, but it's from time to time where I'll look at the news feed and see. And it's so crazy, because that post that I had read was about releasing people. Releasing them. And I was like, oh my God, like, this was something that I needed to actually see. And here it goes, boom, right? It was right in front of me. But it was releasing them in a peaceful and positive way, like I always say. Sometimes we think that we're over something, but we're not. And it's not for you to look at that other person in a way of blaming and you being in the victim spot. No, that's not what I mean. When you release it, you are acknowledging what you've done. And you are acknowledging, listen, me and this person both equally made these mistakes. It's either you want to move past it, or you just want to stay stuck. And me, I'm the type of person where I'm like, heck no, I want to move past it. Like, I dropped a video last week. I believe it was on Friday. I'm addicted to my spiritual growth. Like, I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to seeing how far I can go to heal me. And I have to sometimes take a step back and give myself that pat on the back, because I have come so far. But the one mistake that I made when I first started my spiritual journey was that I thought that I was unstoppable. Not that I thought that I was unstoppable, that I thought that I could never get back to being my old self. And I feel like God put me back on that negative path to show me you could never be too sure. Not saying that I couldn't overcome it. That's not what the message was. The message is that never think that you are never capable of turning back to that person that you don't want to be. And I feel like I needed to go through that to honestly see, like, any minute now, any day now, because there are triggers, there are things that like trigger me, that make me want to go back to doing things that is not serving my highest good. But then now I feel like I'm in a good enough place where I'm able to catch on to that type of energy and say, not gonna happen. So emotional baggage would do that to you. Like, if you're holding on to emotional garbage, like that needs to be out of your life. Don't hold on to it. I remember I was speaking to a person, and they were giving me a lot of spiritual guidance at that time. And that person told me to listen to the Erykah Badu song, Bag Lady. And when I first listened to it back then, when I was first asked to, I didn't understand that song like I understand it now. And my favorite part of that song is bag lady, you gon' hurt your back, carrying all them bags like that. And then she goes, it's a certain part where she goes, all you need to hold on to is you. And I took that part and I reminded myself, like, all I need to hold on is to me, not to what the emotional damage was, not to that other person. I need to hold on to myself. I don't need to move on in life holding on to things that's not going to serve my highest good, that's not going to help me get anywhere. It's just going to keep me stuck, and that's just the reality of it. And I had to realize that I'm not a perfect person. I'm still working on me. Every day is something, every single day. I stopped journaling, because I got caught up in my school thing. Tomorrow is my first official day of journaling. I'm going to start journaling again. Like I said, we need to connect with something higher than ourselves when we wake up. It's not, let me wake up and go on my phone, or let me wake up and go smoke a cigarette, or let me wake up and go drink a hot, let me just wake up and just turn on the news, which is negative. Like, no. Connect with yourself and connect with God when you first wake up. Trust me, it will put you in this mind state where you're at peace with your thoughts and you're at peace with yourself. Because our thoughts is our own worst enemy. Your thoughts can have you running, can have you questioning you. And to me, that's the ego when it starts to come up. When we're questioning ourselves. I used to be in a place where I was so assured of what my gifts were. But then I get back to these places where I'm not sure. I think I was just focusing on a lot of the negative things and the emotional baggage that I was carrying, that it was getting in the way of where I'm trying to go. So I now have an understanding that I have to release that. And I did. And I started with one specific situation. I released that. I'm okay. And you know how you know when you do not release something? Is when those triggers start to come up, and then you start to go back and forth with your mind. Like, am I making the right choice? Am I not? That is emotional baggage that you're holding on to. Once you release that and you are able to truly sit with yourself, alone with yourself, with your thoughts, with your feelings, and you're honestly and able to sort those thoughts and feelings out, then I would say you can make whatever move that you feel is going to be the best move for you. But you cannot possibly make a smart choice when you're holding on to the past. You have to be able to let that go, release that into the universe, keep it moving, and then later down that line, if that relationship needs to be released for good, you will know. But you won't be stuck in that same mindset, or you won't take it as negative as you would have you been holding on to that baggage. You understand that? So we have to start acknowledging that we all have emotional baggage. No one is better than anyone. We all have things that we have not gotten rid of yet. We all have things that we hold on to. Whether we want to put it in the back of our mind or whether we want to face it, we still have it and it's still there. So that was the video that I wanted to make for y'all guys. Just release this emotional baggage. It's not going to serve you any good. And just keep it moving. There's always something better. Remember that. It's always something better. And you just never know. Once you release that energy, like what else is going to come? So I hope you guys enjoy your Monday night and stay warm.